Thank you so much for keeping it with us. My guest is Honorable Joram Tibasimwa, an outgoing member of the National Council for the Older Persons, who also chaired it, and also MP for the Older Persons now from the Western region of Uganda. Honorable, welcome back from the break.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Once again.
What is the role of an older person as a personal initiative to have a good life?
Well, one, an older person should have, right from the beginning, should have started to save some money. Can I? Sorry. He was about to join us.
Okay.
Do we bring him in?
Well, let's discuss. Eh?
You
were telling me about an older person.
Yes. An older person.
Yes.
Is supposed to have started from the beginning. He should have. He should have prepared to do some saving.
Okay.
Every time he is doing some work. The old people in our old days, we used to see them grow food and then keep part of this food at the sub-county headquarters, so that in case of
any kind of problems, danger or scarcity,
then they would get some of this food from the granaries to keep them afloat. Secondly, those who had a chance to work for government, there are saving schemes that were there and that they are still there. And those, I am also talking to those who are about to retire, that there must be a fraction saved so that you can, for the future, because there is no way you are going to live without anything.
I've found a factor that has really, that is responsible for older persons facing these forms of abuse. It is you, people at the council, the National Council for the Older Persons, much as it is only 4 years, you're not doing enough to ensure that these people really have a good life. How much do you prepare them for retirement? What kind of knowledge do you share with them? How much do you prepare those of us who are candidates of becoming older persons in order to have a good life when we get there?
True. I told you the council is still young and we are in the formative stage. At the time we came in, there was no anything about the older persons. We didn't have even an office where to operate from. We didn't have even personnel. We didn't have what. So by the time we created those structures, 2 years had already gone. But we have not done nothing because now, before we went for elections, we had given out some animals to the eastern region, to the northern region, and lastly to the western region, supplying some of these animals to the societies which we had already formed, because we, to date, out of 140 districts, we formed 126 circles at each district level. So these circles, we work as a nucleus for generating money. It is because this is save, deposit and then save. Okay. And or save, you borrow and then deposit some.
Can that really work for an older person?
No, that's the problem.
To borrow money and pay back.
Now,
first of all, borrow to do what?
Remember, we are talking about older persons. Older persons start from 60 years upwards. Yes. Those from the 60 to 79 bracket can do so, because they are still energetic. Those of 80, the government is already catering for them at 25,000 shillings, which we need to increase. But for these who are 60 years, 70 years, they are still energetic. And therefore, we have encouraged them. We have now supplied a nucleus, a start of some animals for them, so that they can, when a society, they have chosen one person or two to have those animals kept, and then after they have multiplied, they would give to the rest of the people. Of course, that scheme is still beginning. It's a small thing. It's still beginning, but we hope that we are going to supply more of that nature, so that the older persons can look after themselves.
How effective is SAGE, in your view, in terms of keeping these people away from what this day terms as abuse and that kind of thing? How effective is SAGE?
Now, many people in the country think 25,000 shillings will not do much. But I can assure you...
What is your view, Honorable Tibasibo?
I visited Gulu and some parts of Katakwi, and I found two old people who had been paid this money.
As in two?
Yes.
Okay.
They had bought goats. They were rearing goats, and they were very happy that the government had paid them that money. And to that extent, to those who are really very bad off, that is a good beginning.
25,000.
25,000.
And they had bought goats.
Yes.
For subsistence farming.
For subsistence farming.
You get? So how does it really keep them out of poverty, be able to get a drug from a drug shop if there is any problem that is health-wise?
That is only the beginning. And definitely I cannot say they are going to be sustained by only that one. No. But there will be other projects, as I have talked to you. We had started giving out animals, the cows and the pigs and the rest of it. That is part of that one. We cannot get poverty out of us in a day or in a year. It takes time, and that's only a beginning. And when you are saying, what did you do as a council?
Yes.
Yes, a council has to sensitize the public first of all. Because even now, as I talk, some people in some of these villages have only known councils during the elections.
Because that's when councils went to them.
Yes, that's when the people went.
So when else would they know, actually?
And the
council was in Kampala seated.
No,
towards elections.
I had already told you.
Went to them. That's when they had to go.
I had already told you that we didn't have money to operationalize these councils. The councils were there, but they were dormant. And that one, you may blame it on the council, but it's also a blame on those who started the councils. Because before you start something of that nature, you must plan for it. You must have a budget for it. We didn't have. In our first year of 2016, we did not have a budget at all.
Then how did you start up? Because you, as members of a council, you have members, the older persons, those who could afford to give you a 10,000 note and things like that. One would think you would have started with that and moved on.
No. You start what we would call, you know, you go to the street and you say, please give me 10,000 shillings, and I begin. No,
I thought you told me the councils have a structure right from the villages, parishes, Gombola district.
We do.
And I thought these councils have members. So if people that knew the agenda and have a goal, couldn't they support or sponsor the activities of this council? Definitely
not. You know our system in this country. When they say this is government, everybody thinks it's the government to bring everything to that structure. Okay. Which is not the case. You must, yes, government will come in, but you must also have something to do for yourself. And that's why I'm talking about the age bracket of 60 to 70 there. Those are still active, and we should be able to create projects for them. We at the council, we had suggested to government that they create what we call a livelihood fund.
Okay.
The youth have that fund, and they have utilized it, I think, well. Of course, some of the money has not been returned, But from there, when they get that money, they start off some projects. And this is what we were advocating for the old persons, age bracket 60 to 75, 79, because those of 80 are already been catered for. So we wanted a livelihood fund created. And we are still lobbying the government to do that kind of thing. So that those who say they are retired, but you know, retirement, old people who have been in the village, they don't retire. They don't retire. They go on digging, they go on having their projects, small projects, and they don't retire. But they would need a supplement to what they are doing.
From who anyway? From
government, because
is government ready to remit it?
This is what we are struggling to do. This is what we are struggling to do, and the government is willing, but they don't have enough. When the government is calling upon us to pay taxes, maybe some of these taxes would work to subsidize what the older persons are doing. And by the way, while we are doing that one, we are advocating. No, there is already an act which has already been passed in Parliament about the health insurance. Health insurance. Although I think up to date, the President has not signed the act yet. But we want to make sure, to lobby him to make sure that this insurance bill act is signed, because it would be helpful to our older persons. You know, they don't have money to go to private clinics.
Okay. What, we now have a fully fledged council. Finally, we have MPs for the older persons in Parliament. They are no longer people that really lack somebody to cry to. What kind of plans do you have as the group now in Parliament? Let's start with you. Yes, and how are you going to help the council to give a better life to the members?
We have long-term and short-term programs that we are going to start with. Let me start with short-term programs. One, as I have already said, this we are grateful that the government is paying the 25,000 shillings to the older persons, each of 80 years. We are saying this money is not definitely enough. We want to lobby government in the short term so that they can increase this money, if possible, to 100,000 shillings. But we wouldn't mind if it comes to 50 for the time being. Secondly, the age at which it is being paid, 80 years, is an advanced age. Very few, about 350 only people qualify for this fund out of 1.7 million of the older persons. We want to make sure that this age is lowered to 60 if possible, but if not possible, 70 for the time being. And then we go on like that one until everybody benefits from this fund. Now, essentially, no, this is the third one, the third point. In the long term, we, as I had already mentioned, the health insurance is absolutely necessary. The Parliament has, the 10th Parliament has already passed the bill, and we are waiting for it to be signed by government. And if this one is by the President, and if this one is signed, I believe then the old people will have a priority. Will have a priority. And in addition to that one, what is very important is that there is a bill concerning the rights and roles of older persons, which is now before Cabinet. We want to make sure that this bill goes through, because that bill explains and points out the roles and rights of the older persons. You know, yes, in the Constitution there is a chapter about rights and roles, but they are not specifically for
Older
the older person.
How different are those for older persons? Because they are human beings, citizens like the rest of us. What kind of other rights do they have that one at 25 years does not have to enjoy?
For example, just a simple example, you know, in Uganda, lining up has been is a fashion. When you are going to the bank, when you are going to get public transport,
medication,
medication, even food. When you are going to eat, there is lining up. No, we are saying, you know, let's be courteous and
allow the old
people not to line up. By the way, let me tell you.
How big is that a right?
That's a very big,
in comparison to things that they really need.
Well,
badly, like an increment on SAGE, making it more all over the country.
It may not sound big, but that's a good beginning.
But a line in the bank, a line for food at a funeral.
You think that one is a small thing
compared to these other things that they really need? No, I find that.
But I have already, I've already listed those that they badly need, and that is an additional right that we should accord them, so that the old people know and they are recognized as old, so that they don't collapse on the line in the line. When they are,
as we wind up, I'll give this some more seconds. Like you said, I agree with you. It is poverty as the main factor that has necessitated older persons facing all these abuses. Besides SAGE and these other projects, what would you suggest, for example, if government gave you, Honorable Tivasimu, an opportunity to table something that can really give the older persons a better life in this country? What kind of economic idea would you lay on the table?
Well, that's a very good question. It would not only concern older persons only, but the whole country, because government is now introducing what they call a parish model of management of activities in this country. At that parish model, because it is near the people, there the older persons also, because it is near in their village, they should have a say in the management of that parish model. Because the moment they do that one, then whatever comes from government, they will be able to share on that one because they are part of it. And secondly, definitely, because of age, you may not table so many things to burden the older persons, but give them some of the projects that are not, will not take long and will not burden them. For example, avoid them goats, avoid them a few cows. I don't want to mention this one because, but the pigs,
no, you mentioned
the pigs also multiply very fast.
Okay.
On them, these are some of the issues actually we presented to the president when we were in Chankwanzi.
Okay.
That if these are very old persons can manage those.
Okay. What would be your message to the older persons out there watching you, especially on a day like this, as we wind up?
Yes, thank you very much. The old persons that I represent in Parliament, not only those from the West, but also for the whole country, I want to assure you that we are making laws that will protect the old persons from the abuse by the young ones. We are also preparing to make sure that your welfare is well catered for, and whatever we are doing, it is in the interest of the older persons. We want to make sure that your rights and freedoms are protected.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Joram Tibasimwa, the outgoing chairman of the National Council for Older Persons and also member of parliament for the older persons representing those from the Western region. We thank you so much for watching. For the older persons, we love you. Whoever goes wrong with you is just making a mistake, and indeed the law should go for that person. We love you and we really care for you. That's why we even gave out this 1 hour to discuss something like this on a day that goes to really touch that care that we're talking about you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Enjoy the next program. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lukoma.
You're welcome.
Sinok Uganda Limited has organized the Sinok Oil and Gas Supplier Development E-Conference 2021 under the theme Financing for Oil and Gas Contractors. The panelists will include Betty Namubiru, Manager National Content Petroleum Authority of Uganda, Henry Kamuntu, Sector Head Oil and Gas Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited, Matthew Chaligonza, National Content Manager Sinok Uganda Limited, Godfrey Mundo,